From Edgewater Presbyterian Church, this is Jerry. Jesus was neither Republican nor Democrat. He is neither right nor left, and yet we keep trying to claim him for one side or the other. We quote him to back our policies, to defend our moral certainties, to score points in arguments. But Jesus doesn't fit inside our party lines. The gospel never has and never will. Matthew 25 stands on its own. It doesn't say, when I was hungry, you created a committee. It doesn't say, when I was a stranger, you checked my papers. It says, when I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me. That is not a partisan command. It's a moral one. Taking the side of the least of us is not to be Republican or Democrat. It is to be Christian. It is to follow Christ, who chose the margins over the palaces, the fishermen over the politicians, the poor over the powerful. When our Presbyterian elders stood outside the Broadview ICE detention facility this morning and protested, that was not a political act. It was a spiritual one. When they celebrated the Eucharist in memory of the undocumented, in full view of ICE agents and National Guard soldiers, they were declaring that the body of Christ has no borders. When Edgewater Mutual Aid and Care for Real distribute food to hundreds of people while watching the security cameras for ICE vehicles outside and down the street, that isn't Republican or Democrat. It's discipleship. It's what it means to live out the gospel when the gospel costs something. At Edgewater Presbyterian Church, we are not called to be neutral. We are called to be faithful. Neutrality keeps us comfortable. Faithfulness keeps us human. It keeps us standing where Jesus stands, in the places the world tries to avoid, in the shelters, at the food pantries, by the detention centers, beside the people the empire wants to disappear. The Gospels defy the tribalism we keep insisting on framing our communities and our world. They do not ask us to fit into red or blue, but to bleed compassion for those who suffer. When the early church gathered, they weren't strategizing how to win influence at Rome's Senate. They were feeding widows. They were freeing slaves. And they were breaking bread in secret, knowing it could cost them their lives. The church has to remember that again. To follow Jesus is not to align with power, but to serve with humility. It is to resist cruelty, even when resistance is inconvenient. It is to love the neighbor and the stranger alike, even when the world calls it naive. So maybe the question isn't which side Jesus would take. Maybe the real question is whether we are standing on his side. The side of the hungry, the detained, the displaced, the forgotten. Because when we take their side, we find Christ already there. And that is not Republican. That is not Democrat. That is the gospel.